years, is that correct?
That's not correct.
How many years?
I've been licensed for 10 years, and I've been practicing for about 15 years.
Okay, and that includes what you went through with your different trials in Hawaii and everything else that you testified to, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you went to Mr. Depp's home for dinner and drinks before you were hired as an expert in this case, correct?
That's not quite right. I was interviewed at Mr. Depp's home by his legal team. Dinner was served.
You, in attendance with Mr. Depp was Adam Waldman, correct?
Yes.
Ben Chu, correct?
Yes.
Camille Vasquez?
Yes.
Okay. And the dinner lasted approximately 3 to 4 hours, correct?
Yes.
And it included
The interview.
drinks, correct?
Yes. Dinner and I believe drinks were served.
Okay. And this was before you were hired as an expert, correct?
Yes. This was an interview so that they could make an informed decision as to whether or not to retain me.
And don't you think that's a little odd that you're getting interviewed by Mr. Depp to decide whether you're going to testify adversely against Amber Heard?
I was interviewed by the legal team.
Okay. And Mr. Depp was present. It was his home, correct?
Yes.
And he was serving dinner and drinks.
He was
correct?
not serving dinner and drinks.
Well, it was at his house at his behest, correct?
Yes, it was at his house.
Okay. And you were contacted by Camille Vasquez, somebody you knew in the community, in February of 2020. Is that correct?
I knew of Ms. Vasquez professionally. We live in the same city, and I work with many attorneys.
Okay. And at that time, you not only knew Johnny Depp, you'd seen a number of his TV and movie roles, and you believed he was a good actor, correct?
Not correct. I did not know Johnny Depp. I had seen several of his movies.
You knew who he was?
Yes.
Right. And you believed he was a good actor, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you provided an expert designation in this case before ever seeing Amber or having an opportunity to review any documents or records. Isn't that correct?
I did not provide an expert designation. That's an attorney thing. My opinions are contained in my report.
Let's pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 884, please. This was plaintiff's designation, identification of expert witnesses in this case. And this is dated February 2021. That's a year after you went to dinner at Mr. Depp's house, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it attributes, if you go to page 13, it says you have 3 opinions. The first of those is that Amber Heard, quote, exhibits patterns of behavior that are consistent with co-occurring cluster B personality disorder traits, especially borderline personality disorder. Did I get that right?
I'm reading that here. That is not my opinion.
Okay.
Well,
but
it's a current opinion, but this was not an opinion of mine then. I didn't have any opinions at that time.
It says Dr. Curry will testify, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
Okay. And this is a signed pleading, correct? On behalf of Mr. Depp.
I'm not sure I understand what that means.
You don't understand what a signed pleading is?
No.
Okay. Do you understand that Mr. Depp's counsel prepared this and served it on Ms. Heard's counsel?
I'm not an attorney. I don't understand necessarily all of these procedures.
Okay. Are you aware that Mr. Depp is on an audio recording years earlier taunting Amber Heard that she has a borderline personality disorder?
I was made aware of that in this case, yes.
So you did that one of the audio?
Not necessarily taunting, but I do recall hearing that Mr. Depp had used that phrase.
So it's a coincidence that you now think she has those attributes after the attorneys listed it in February 2021 before you'd looked at anything, and Mr. Depp had made that accusation to Ms. Heard years earlier.
My opinions aren't based on coincidence.
It's objection.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Dr.
Right.
Yes. Compound, I'll sustain the objection.
All right. It's a coincidence, then, that you came up with symptoms of borderline personality disorder years later after Mr. Depp has been taunting Ms. Heard in an audio tape.
I can't speak to whether or not there's a coincidence. What I can tell you is my opinions are based on the results of my evaluation.
And it's a coincidence that Mr. Depp's counsel attributed that to you, said that to you in February 2021 before you'd looked at anything, correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Now, would you agree that a disproportionate number of women are tagged with a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder?
No, that's not quite right.
75%?
The way you phrased it is not quite right.
Tell me what's right.
Okay, so there are more women who have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder than men. It's more prevalent in women.
And trauma can cause borderline personality disorders, can't it?
No.
Never?
Right now, we know that there are people who have borderline personality disorder who have sustained childhood trauma. There are also people who have borderline personality disorder who have had no childhood trauma. So like most personality disorders, and really like most mental health issues in general, there seems to be both a biological component. In this case with borderline personality disorder, the research tends to support a genetic component and possibly a neurological component. And then there is also possibly an environmental component triggering those genetic markers.
Do you know the percentage of women who are victims of IPV, intimate partner violence, or domestic abuse who are diagnosed with borderline personality disorders?
I can't tell you the percentage off at the top of my head, but I do know that there is a larger, women with borderline personality disorder tend to have a higher prevalence of being involved in intimate partner violence relationships, being the receiver of violence, and being the perpetuators of violence.
Now, you've never been asked to testify or serve as an expert with respect to whether someone has a bipolar disorder. Is that correct?
A bipolar disorder?
Yes.
That's not correct.
Okay. Bear with me. You have an approach?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you recall having your deposition taken in this case?
Yes,
On March 21, 2022?
I believe that was the date, yes.
And were you under oath at that time?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to ask you to turn to page 207. And the question was, have you ever been asked to testify or serve as an expert with respect to whether someone has bipolar disorder? And your answer at that time, will you please read to the jury?
I'm sorry, page 207?
207, line 5. Could you
No.
read? Okay, thank you. Now, when this designation was served in February of 2021, you had not rendered an opinion that, quote, Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that are consistent with co-occurring cluster B personality disorder traits, especially borderline personality disorder, correct?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part. What was that?
When this designation was served that you have in front of you as Plaintiff's Exhibit 884,
Oh, okay.
you had not rendered an opinion that, quote, Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that are consistent with co-occurring cluster B personality disorder traits, especially borderline personality disorder, correct?
No, I had not rendered any opinions. My opinions weren't finalized until after my evaluation.
Right. So when this came out, you had not rendered that opinion.
I had not rendered that opinion.
Okay. The second opinion that's listed in the February 2021 is that Ms. Heard repeatedly and characterologically perpetuated severe physical and psychological intimate partner violence, IPV, toward Mr. Depp over the course of their relationship. End of quote. Did I read that correctly?
It says perpetrated, but other than that, yes.
Okay. And so is it correct that this pleading says in February 2021 that you are going to testify to that?
This document Yes,
Okay?
it says that.
And you have never been asked to testify as to whether anyone has behaviorally or characterologically conducted conduct that suggests they may be an IPV perpetrator, correct? I have to ask that again because I
Yes.
stumbled. I can't
Thank
do
you.
characterologically. That one's just a
Okay.
tough one for me. Okay. You have never been asked to testify as to whether anyone has behavioral or characterological conduct that suggests they may have been an IPV perpetrator, correct?
No, I've never been asked to testify for that.
Okay. And that was not your opinion in February 2021, correct?
No,
And in fact, you do not hold that opinion now, and you were not even asked to provide such an analysis or opinion. Isn't that correct?
no, or that is correct,
That's
yes.
correct. Okay. And you have never held that opinion, correct?
No, that is correct, yes.
Okay. And your third opinion, if we can go to page 14, was that Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that suggest her allegations of abuse against Mr. Depp are false, end of quote. Do you see that?
I see that. You said it's my third opinion. That is not my opinion.
All right. But in this pleading, it says that you will testify to that, correct?
Yes, that's what this says.
Okay. And that was not your opinion in February 2021, was it?
No, as I said, I had not formed any opinions at that time. I had just been retained.
Okay. And in fact, you have never arrived at this opinion as an expert witness in this case, correct?
No, the opinions that I've rendered are provided in my report.
And
they're what I'm testifying to today.
And you have never arrived at this opinion as an expert witness in this case, correct?
Objection made.
All right, so yes, I do. I am in Nola Sawgirl, and that's cool that you like the city. It's one of your favorites of all time. Well, yes, it's an amazing city, and right now it has warmed up and a little bit, but sometimes it gets cold, and then it goes back to being warm. It just kind of it changes back and forth from the two different weather patterns. Right now, it's warm and a little bit cool at night. Right now, temperature is 66 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment. Humidity, it's a little bit humid also. So, kind of like why I'm not wearing the hoodie at the moment. So, yeah, that is the weather. But recently it's been cold, but then it's been warming up a little bit. And I'm sure we're going to get another cold spell coming in at some point. So, yeah, that's the weather update where I am. It has been very foggy. It's been really ghostly looking at night, because at night I like to take walks. And, yeah, it was very foggy last night with the different trees and all look like phantoms. So it was a ghostly, it's ghostly weather at night, yeah. The fog can be kind of dangerous because people can't always see when they're driving. Okay, and Sargo says my transgender son got married there in 2013-14. Oh my God, it was the most beautiful wedding right there in front of the church, and you're so lucky to live there. Oh, well, thank you. It is it would be a nice place to have a wedding, and I think it's a good city to have parties or festivals and stuff like that. And thank you. I appreciate the nice compliments about the city. Thank you. I'm sure the wedding was very nice to see. It's foggy here too, but it's mostly marine layer. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, the fog comes from probably from the Gulf, where I am. Oh. And Bubbles is here. Sargo says, live in California, 5 miles away from the ocean, Southern California. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I'm by the Gulf, so I'm sure that causes the fogging effect. with the weather. Oh, hello, Hamilton. A good evening to you. Welcome to the stream. And happy Valentine's to you and everyone else. And Bubbles is here too, trying to eat me. And he's enjoying the stream. He's being playful. Alright. I'll come to you in a moment. Alright, so hope everybody's having a good day, good evening, good afternoon. Okay, so let's go. I want to see what causes fog before we get back to the Depp trial. Because I don't really know what causes it exactly. Fog. Mississippi River, OMG, like most spectacular thing I ever saw. OMG, it was beautiful, so massive. Oh yeah, absolutely. And where I am, the river is. I've been on the river before in a steamboat when I was growing up. When I was a kid, the steam horn kind of scared me, but on the Natchez I was on. So yeah, I've been on the river before, and yeah, it's very big and majestic, indeed. And it goes all the way up north, but it comes down here, and it's much wider than it is up there. Right. Did you ever go to City Park? They have some really nice cypress trees and oak trees there. Well, moss. They have Okay, they have oak trees, but have moss on them. Not cypress trees specifically, but I like the moss on the trees. It's very nice touch. Fog is essentially cloud that forms at ground level when water vapor is in the air, condenses into the tiny liquid water droplets. The process is triggered when air becomes saturated, meaning it cannot hold any more water vapor, which typically happens in two ways. The air is cooled to its dew points, or enough moisture added to the air that reaches its limit. The most common type of fog is radiation fog, occurring on clear, calm nights when the ground loses heat and cools the air directly above it. Advanced fog forms when water moist air comes horizontally over much cooler surface, such as cold ocean currents or snow-covered lands. Steam fog, evaporation fog, occurs when cold air passes over a warmer body of water, causing the water to evaporate into cool air and quickly condenses. Hello, Miss C. It's great to see you. Welcome to the stream. Alright, and Sawgirl says, yeah, I went on the Natchez. Oh yeah, yes, definitely City Park. All the plantations just everywhere in New Orleans. My transgender son got married there, so we did the whole tour the entire time. The entire area. Oh, okay. Yes, the plantations are very fascinating. Yes, indeed. I think that they are, they're good for weddings. One of my friends has a plantation for weddings specifically. His family owns it for weddings. Maybe you went to one of those. But yeah, they're very good for tourism, for learning the different history or having weddings there. Yeah, they're very Roman architecture, Mediterranean type architecture. It's very different than other places. My house is a Spanish house, and I have, obviously being New Orleans, I'm mixed with different Mediterranean countries that were here. Like I'm part Italian, part Spanish, part French. Well, along with being like the Northern Europeans too, in Germany, in England. So I'm basically, long story short, I'm mixed with the different European countries I'm related to. But this region is like a Catholic, predominantly with the Mediterranean influence, which produces very nice architecture. Right. I ate alligator, rabbit, dude. It was so delicious. Oh yes, the food is amazing here, definitely. And I've had alligator myself before. Yeah, very good. Also gumbo, which you've probably seen me in the trial chats talk about, is just a an abundance of different flavors at the same time, cooked by people that were here for generations ago, which is really nice to have it right from the source. Ate rabbit squirrel when I was young. Okay. Hey, I lived in Mississippi as a child adult in Georgia, Atlanta. My brother lived in Bastrop, Louisiana. Hello, Doe. Good evening to you. Welcome to the stream. Shout out to you as well. Watching the Depp trial and talking about the city of my city, New Orleans, too. And oh yeah. I like Georgia and those different places, and Alabama, too. One of my good friends that's a farmer, she lives in Georgia. I've learned so much about farming from them up there, so it's a cool state. All right, and Salvador says, I grew up in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Definitely do know about adversity in different cultures. Oh my God, this is just crazy. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I like New Mexico's cool. I have I have some friends from over there, which is a very cool state. It's like the old West out there. I know about it snows in the mountains, snows in some parts, and it's very nice to well, it actually gets very hot over there, like it does here, and the weather can be. I've never been there myself. I know from people that live there, so yeah, it's a nice desert. I don't know if a desert is really nice, but the scenery, like the cactuses and stuff, is cool to me. Sorrel says, do you think TMZ is always bidding up these high-profile cases? For example, Johnny Depp, now Nancy Guthrie. Oh, absolutely. I do think that it's a lucrative. They're trying to make. Yeah, TMZ is a joke. Yeah. When I was growing up in the early 2000s, well, that's when I was, growing up. TMZ was all over the place talking about Britney Spears and different things that are going on. So yeah, I do think that they're building up those cases, and they do report on information that is cool, that can be useful. But I do think they do have information out there that is they're doing it for what they can to make profit too. Yeah. It's the high desert, right? When I grew up, growing up, I lived in about 3 miles from the home where Gene Hackman died. Oh, yeah, we did a stream last year about Gene Hackman, and we think that the death was very strange, a strange occurrence. That it's possible that it could have been, they should have known what was going on. Somebody should have checked on them. Some people think it could have been done on purpose. It's kind of a mysterious death, very odd. But they were mummified, and rest in peace. He was a very good actor, by the way. But yeah, the desert can mummify people. Yeah. Over here, they would just, it would not be mummification. It'd be just boiling here. Yeah. Where I am at the moment, the weather isn't bad. It's just foggy and cloudy and humid right now. No bad weather at the moment. Is there bad weather by you, Doe? All right. Yeah, true. Yeah, very strange. And with the Nancy Guthrie's disappearance is very strange too. And as we've been talking about the Epstein files, there could be people connected or know people that know somebody that was doing something. Some people might be trying to silence people that might tell something. That is some theories that have been floating around on the internet, and a lot of conspiracy theories seem to be coming out as true, but of course not all of them are true. So I do wonder what the motives are behind these kidnappings or deaths sometimes. I've been sick for a bit and haven't been on this. Tribadoo, you have a beard. Yay, that's good. Yeah. Sometimes I grow the beard, and I go through different cycles. Sometimes I'll have it shaved, sometimes I'll have a beard. But yeah, a lot of people like the beard. Yeah, thank you. And on the 25th of this month, it'll be my birthday. By the way. Oh, child channel. Okay, channel. Okay. Sometimes I'm referred to as a kid. Sometimes, even though I'm an adult. So sometimes I take it as like a kind gesture. But you meant channel. Okay. Understood. That was a good video put out, Alien, this morning. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the video about Epstein. We had some. I was looking through the Epstein files, and Moki provided some very good information about it too. And yeah, I appreciate it. I'm going through the files along with other YouTubers, and there's lots of disturbing things going on. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Yeah. Texas might get bad weather, and Doe says no. Just saw snowstorms and tornadoes, so I didn't know. Okay, yeah. Well, the bad weather is probably coming my way later. My transgender son has a birthday on March 24th. Okay, happy early birthday to him. Okay, and yeah, mine's on the 25th. Oh, thank you, Sawgirl. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's some stuff from the Epstein files that was released. I'm going down the rabbit hole of the Epstein files. One of my the first video of the Epstein files iceberg is getting quite a bit of views. It's getting traction, which I'm glad to see. People are interested in it. So yeah, it's a topic I think is very important to release. Oh, happy early birthday, Miss C. It's on the March 21st. Okay. Need a warning in some parts of Louisiana. Oh, in some part. Okay, yeah, it's coming my way. I'm in the southeastern parts, so must be in the western northern parts of the state. Okay, so it's gonna be coming my way soon, I suppose, but not at the moment. All right. Okay. And cypress trees are very old. They could be hundreds of years old, maybe thousands of years old. Those trees last a long time. You know, there's a tree in my yard is the Chinese tallow, and it turns colors. It turns yellow and purplish and orange and red in the fall. And they say the trees here don't change colors, but they actually do. They change colors, but only certain types of trees change colors. And that's in my yard. It was used on some plantations for oil. It was used for candles. I knew it had to be used for something, and Benjamin Franklin brought it here from China. So, and it was from Georgia and like the East Coast, and then they brought it down here later. And during Hurricane Katrina, it caused all these seeds to spread everywhere, and that's why we have more of the tallow here. So I appreciate the tree growing here. How far am I from the Mississippi River? I don't know exactly how far I'm from the river, but I'm very close to it. A couple of miles away. Let's see. I'll try to figure it out. Let's see. About 2 or 3 miles away from it. That's how far. It's about 2 or 3 miles. Missy says, I once worked Lake Charles for lawyers' parents' caregiving. Ah, okay. Okay. Understood. And that sounds very cool. The different regions. I'm sure it was a. Hopefully, it was a cool job. It was a nice experience. Katrina was the most disgusting thing I ever saw as far as the United States government response to the devastation of the people were going through. OMG, it was disgusting. Yeah, it was very disgusting, and people were warned to leave, and people could have left, but it was the government was not prepared to handle the situation. Neither was the state or city governments, and it just led to chaos. Yeah. Oh, you were 5 miles from the Mississippi River. Okay, nice. Yeah, it was just. I remember when I came back, there was holes in the ceilings, but like roofs had big holes in them that were cut, and or like broken open. That was something that I saw, and there's help signs. It was all over the place. It was a mess over here. Saw Girl, I agree. The government should have been there to help out, and they didn't. I do agree with you, it was not handled right. And it took a long time to get the levees, the water out the city, and a lot of people were just stranded there in the Superdome, and there wasn't a lot of food, water, etc. And people were having problems. So yeah, I do agree with you, absolutely. And the levees were not built right because they failed to keep upgrading the levees, and they eventually broke and caused the problems that we saw today. And that was a mess. Definitely. It was mishandled. Lake Province, not Lake Charles. Oh, okay. Understood. Correction is understood. Noted. Okay. Yeah, and I think that I remember there was I saw in the news the helicopters that were coming rescuing people, and there's nowhere to really put them. And sometimes I think that they were not always giving the right supplies that they need to give out, and it was just a big. I'm sure, like, I'm glad to see people from other parts of the country seeing that it was mishandled and they didn't do it right. Yeah, it was a really cringe. Indeed. There's all kinds of different animals and insects and seeds and plants that start growing in different regions of the city because of the flooding. And it was just, yeah, a complete disgrace and very poorly handled, and so many lives were lost. Absolutely. There were pumps that were brought in from Europe to pump out the water. Oh, okay, thank you. The tornado's 3 hours from me. All right. Scared. That's noted. Sawgirl says, honestly, my kid was like 10 blocks away from the towers on 9/11. Oh my goodness, that is horrible. Wow. But the government response was different than the response that NOLA got from the government, in my opinion, was disgusting. Understood. Yeah, I do agree. They really neglected the city. It was very foolish how it was a clown show. I remember watching it on the news, and the people were just completely outraged about how it was handled, and people like on TV were mass sufferings, were happening, in the sense that things that could have been done totally different, and people had to see that on TV. It was a very humiliating, embarrassing time for the city. Indeed. And it really upset me growing up. When I was watching it as a kid, it was very upsetting for me. The whole situation was. The day where the skies are quiet, eerie. Oh, yeah. Yeah. On 9/11. Yeah, definitely. It was an eerie sky because the skies, there was no planes flying around because of, or helicopters because of the attacks. Yep. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, that is my position on that, Katrina. There was like sidewalks that were, the street was like torn up and thrown on the sidewalk, and there was boats and all kinds of bizarre things on the road and sidewalks that shouldn't be there. Sargirl says the people of Nola shouldn't be embarrassed. It should be the freaking government. Oh my goodness, what the heck were they thinking? They go to Bangladesh faster than to Nola discussing. Oh, exactly. Like they'll go help the foreign countries all over, like in Europe and Middle East, much quicker than they helped the their own city. Yeah, it's completely cringe. They were putting all these other countries and places first over this country. And all the wars in the Middle East and stuff, they'll send supplies quickly, but not here. It was, yeah, an embarrassing. The government should be very embarrassed by what it did. Absolutely. Yeah, facts. Facts. Oh, hello, Moki. Good evening to you. Welcome to the stream. Um, Shout out to you. We are talking about the. Watching a Depp trial. We're talking about the city and different things of the hurricane. Oh, thank you, Saw Girl. It is one of the most fantastic cities in the world, definitely. And we're getting close to Mardi Gras, which is an exciting time. And it's hopefully safe for everybody. Um, yeah. And she hasn't joined IG, right? Yeah, and tomorrow I'm going to do a live that's earlier, by the way. So there'll be so those that are sleepy, will do it earlier tomorrow, also. Yeah, and we got some. This was a little bit of a later stream. Yeah, Judy needs to get to IG, definitely. And by doing that, that will. She has lots of reels waiting for her from Moki. Yeah. All right. Sawgirl says, "I love Mardi Gras. Been there. This is like so crazy. I was there first time when I was 20 years ago. OMG, I had no idea what in the world was about. Oh, okay, it was about, yeah. Oh, thank you, Zagro. Okay, Miss C says an update. I got my washer fixed. Tons of clothes washed. Okay. Well, that's cool. I'm glad that you got that done. Because I'm seeing that was a problem that was happening. Okay. Let's see. Yes, plenty of time to enjoy Aaron's reels. That in Miss C, I'll tell you that Moki and Aaron send the best reels on the internet. All right, they send the best, and you'll certainly get like you send me cool things. They have some stuff to share with you in the IG app. Oh yes, Missy, that's very good. Yeah, it's very delicious. They have very good pastries here from France. So I'll explain about Mardi Gras, which y'all probably know about it. Mardi Gras is a centuries-old tradition that serves as a grand last hurrah before the religious season of Lent, because the Catholic, French, and Spanish, etc., celebrated Lent. It's the name French for Fat Tuesday, refer to the practice of consuming rich, fatty foods like meat, butter, and eggs before the 40-day Lenten period. A fasting and penance begin on Ash Wednesday. The Romans celebrated for fertility and Lupercalia, and then it was Christianized and made into a Christian holiday. The term carnival likely refers to the Latin cardinal varium, meaning take away meat, signaling the end of the feasting. Oh yes, yes, absolutely. That is very good. All right, let's go here. Yeah, the king cake. The king cake's very good. Yeah, the beignets. A quintessential New Orleans treat consisting of deep fried, square shaped dough covered in heavy layers of powdered sugar. Yeah, those are very good. Those are very good. Let's go over here. Shots of the spaceship cats. And yeah, that's kind of like a map of like where people could find it. And let's go here. I got that, and it is very good. Those are nice. I'll show you all the king cake. Yes, melt in mouth. This is the king cake. The Armenians have a similar tradition with the cake with the baby in it, or it was a coin they put in it, because we were both part of the Roman Empire at one time. So that was something interesting. But we are part where it comes from, originates from the French. Yeah, when I was a kid, used to like so a kid would get a king cake, right? They would have a king cake like in school or pre-K, whatever, and then whoever gets the baby gets the bring the king cake to the school the next day. The next time they bring a king cake, and you have to look in there so you don't eat it. And it's a little baby, which is supposed to be Jesus in there. So that's the baby in there. I talked about Pat O'Brien's to my husband once, and he surprised me by ordering hurricane mix from there for me. Oh, okay, nice. Nice. Okay. LOL. Yep. And Pat O'Brien's is this. Pat O'Brien's a nice party place. There. Yeah, there's also a St. Patrick's Day where they celebrate the Irish holiday. And when I was a kid, I liked going to St. Patrick's Day parades. So they'll throw vegetables off the float, and everybody's wearing green stuff, and they have like these people that come around and you kiss them. Like the women kiss the men. They have ladies that get kissed by the men, etc. And Sapelas are the same in NOLA and other from New Mexico. Ah, okay. Oh, interesting. Yes, because they're both a part of the Mediterranean countries. Right? And um oh, that's what's gonna look up. Yeah, by the way, this is like a paddle boat. Like I've never been on these things, but you have like these swamp tours that are pretty cool that I've been on. And for instance, there is this. Oh, that's what I want to look at. The the Mexican one. Okay, New Mexican one. Okay, let's go. Yeah, that looks very good. That's the Spanish version. Very, very delicious. Okay, they have honey in them. I've never had that before. That sounds like a nice mix of have to have honey in them. Very cool. Oh, okay. All basically the same thing. Okay. And beignets have a powdered sugar on them. Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, still a fried dough. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a Catholic region, and a lot of Irish people came here. They were Catholic, and so yeah, there's lots of Catholic influence at the holidays and stuff. There was a city. Let's say the city of like they have like rosaries and stuff that are a little bit different than the other forms of Christianity. And for instance, it's like the inside of one of the churches. Let's say inside. Church. Like this is what not all the churches look like this inside, but these are some of the more popular churches inside. Oh, understood. Sawgirl, understood. Oh, there's an Italian version too. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool. See, that's the side of these churches that they have here. It's a little bit different. So this does like yeah, like that's what they look like inside. That's the outside of it looks like. It's very interesting. Some of these churches, these really famous ones, have flags in them. My churches didn't really have flags in them. The ones I went to. Yeah, so pretty cool. Okay, and Yes, I was raised Roman Catholic. Yes. Now I'm related to other Christian denominations too, but I was raised Roman Catholic. Yes. Something I have in common with the other Mediterranean countries like New Mexico or the California, different people from there. Yeah, the Roman Catholicism would be a common thing that we would have, right? From Spain to Italy, France, we're all Catholic, right? And parts of Germany. As I got older, although I have a lot of Catholic traditions still, I went through different phases where I liked more of the, not that the Catholic Church isn't biblical, it is biblical, but I liked a Bible, the Protestant churches, I liked their, the Bible stories they talked about, so I like them too. So I'm like a hybrid of different Christian denominations. You no longer practice it, yeah. I call myself an eclectic Christian because I combine a bunch of different beliefs into one thing. But yeah, I have like I like to have a personal relationship with God. Not that the church is illegitimate, in my opinion, but it's just I had different investigations into different types of Christianity. But yeah, that is okay. Thank you, Richard. By the way, RC. Richard Schmidt right there is my grandpa, by the way. And Moki says, did you already talk about Dyatlav? I feel we need more conspiracy theories for that. Theorists for that. I have not talked about that, Moki, tonight. And I was going to do since it's kind of a later stream, I was going to do a rough summary of it and not getting too deep into it, but I was going to do like a rough summary of it. We could talk about it as much or little as we need to. And we could talk about it multiple times. Oh, Moki, I'm so glad to hear about Cecil. I was concerned about him. Okay, thank you. Sargo says, I just consider myself somebody who believes in Jesus, God, no particular denomination. Oh, amen. That's good. That's how I am. That's how I am too. I'm not a particular denomination, but I'm a combination, a bunch of different. I even like things from the Zen Buddhists and the different Asian philosophies too. I was influenced by, and the Stoics, the Greek ones. So I'm just a combination of different things. But yeah, that's a good Jesus and God. That's very important. Very good. Yeah, Cecil is a gentleman, definitely. I was always kind to me. I always appreciate him here. Okay. And let's see. Happy Valentine's Day, and let's see right here. I'll talk about the conspiracy theory case, but we'll get more into it in another stream. But we'll talk about this conspiracy theory that is going on right here. By the way, I appreciate every single one of you and thank you all for being here. All right. Dyatlav refers to the mysterious 1959 deaths of 9 experienced hikers in the Russian Ural Mountains because of the official Soviet investigation originally closed with vague verdict of compelling natural forces. There isn't anything on TV. Oh, okay. A vacuum of information formed, fueling decades of conspiracy theories. Oh, thank you, Saw Girl. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I have thought about at some point doing that, about streaming the different trials like other channels do. At some point, it's something we could look into. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. You know, I always like to keep I'm more of an OG, of old-fashioned law and crime. I liked how it was in its past, so it'll be more like how it originally was. A little bit. I like law and order, so to speak, in the chats. And Sargirl says, "Yeah, I was just watching about other day on YouTube. Pretty weird disappearances for all those mountaineers, huh? Yeah, it's very weird because they just." Yeah, Sawgirl, you could say your theory about what you think happened. We think it is very bizarre. There's some UFO, alleged UFO reasons, or some mysterious person lurking around. Yeah, it's a very case about it could be a couple different things. All right, the core mysteries that fuel conspiracies. The tent, sliced open from the inside as hikers fled the blind panic. Physical state. Hikers were found in various states of undress, some in just socks or underwear, in sub-zero temperatures. Gruesome injuries. Several had internal fractures, crushed ribs, and skulls. Comparable to high-speed car crash, yet had no external soft tissue damage. Radiation. Traces of radioactivity were found on some pieces of clothing. Missing features. One hiker was missing her tongue and eyes. Sarrel says, some kind of weird creature. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, what else it could have been? Yeah, it could have been a creature because there's lots of cryptids and angels, aliens that are lurking around that could be causing something, or what Moki says, the government, because the Soviet government was known for abducting people and stuff. Now, Sawgirl says, I don't think it was the government of Russia. I think it was something we don't quite understand. I mean, those people went absolutely bonkers. You know what? I'll say this, chat. After the fall of the USSR in '89, all the Soviet documents were released, and they probably would have found something in the Soviet archives that would have shown that they did something, in my opinion. So yeah, that is an argument that maybe they didn't do it because when the Soviets collapsed because the communism doesn't work, and it was a disgrace, and basically they released documents, they released things from the Holocaust, victims of the Holocaust, etc., or whatever. They released the people that were the rightful owners of different documents. They gave other things to people, such as releasing more information about the Tsar Nicholas and his family being murdered by the Bolsheviks. So that probably would have came out within those file dumps. So back then, that was their Epstein file dump when those documents were released. That pastry I'm talking about had raspberry filling. You want a donut? Yeah. Yeah, donuts for chat. We're going to give everybody some beignets and some good food. Everything about where they were each found clothing they had on their injuries all were weird. Yes, I agree. It's something very bizarre. All right, so physical state. Hikers are found in various states of undress, some in just socks, underwear, 0 temperatures. Gruesome injuries. Several had internal fractures, crushed ribs, skulls, and comparable to high-speed car crash, yet had no external soft tissue damage. Radiation traces of radioactivity were found on some pieces of clothing. Missing features. One hiker was missing her tongue and eyes. Yeah, very, very bizarre. Okay, Judy, understood. Sawgirl says, I'm not sure why the government of Russia would have gone after these people. I've watched many documentaries, incident, and it just seems absolutely inconvincible. Okay, thank you for your take. Popular conspiracy theories about this. Secret military testing. Theories suggest that hikers stumbled into a secret Soviet nuclear or missile test zone. The radiation on clothes reported orange spheres in the sky at the time, often cited as evidence. They could have been orbs, though, UFOs. KGB espionage. Some believe certain group members were undercover agents meeting foreign spies, and meeting went violently wrong. Alright. Moki says, supposedly one guy who was with them wasn't a student and was a government agent. People think that he was there to see what was happening, an area which was near the rocket facility or something. Moki, you watch Alien's Epstein vid came out this morning, and so down the rabbit hole, it's all nuts. Well, thank you for watching, chat. I appreciate it. Hey. Yes, Miss C. Very good observation. He is like Hitler. Yes. Absolutely, Sawgirl. We know you're still here. Thank you for being there, lurking. So, yeah, and Epstein was trying to create a genetic race of people from his own line, which is similar to what Hitler did, and also he had people he ran like a concentration camp, basically. Yeah, he did all that stuff. I agree, he is similar to Hitler, Stalin, those type of people. Certainly also like Jim Jones too, and Manson, all those people. Yeah, very good observation. Yes, it's all against God and design. I agree, definitely. Yes, he wanted a certain race. Exactly. Right. Because he did all these weird genetic testings, and he wanted all these people to create this line of people that were part of this superior elite. Yeah, very similar. Indeed. Yeah. Salgo says, Epstein's a freaking sicko. I mean, there was a little kid named Robbie Romero who went missing from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and now I'm thinking, did Epstein have something to do with his parents? He was 7. Oh, yeah, definitely. In my opinion, he seems similar to a serial deleter, too. A serial killer. He's like that as well. Yeah, he had a New Mexico ranch where he did a lot of genetic testings. And definitely, in my opinion, he could have been a victim of Epstein's trafficking ring. He had an international global network. He has links to the Prime Minister of Israel at that time, people in Saudi Arabia, people in all over Europe and Eastern Europe. He's all over the world pretty much. So it's a big international clique, a connection everywhere. You know, in the United States as well. It's a very spooky thing. I agree, in my opinion. I think he's still alive too, because just when Moki and I were talking about it, and this is to some a very far out theory, but he was able to. There's a guard that was at the facility that was confirmed to be real and was alleging that Epstein was brought out in a wheelchair, tied up wheelchair, strapped wheelchair, chained up, and was brought into a van and relocated. There's been some activities from his online account with Fortnite, which is a famous one, that was active. There was another part where his bank accounts have activity. He had a lot of connections to people and could blackmail a lot of people. And although it seems that's why they would delete him, and that's probably why, if he was really dead, that's why they killed him. But he also could have had information where he was able to sneak out of the situation and go somewhere else. So it's possible, I think, that he could be still alive. Yeah. Oh, hello, Mermaid. Good evening. Yeah, I hope he isn't either, but there's theories about him still being alive. He was a very good con man. He was a con artist and a trickster. That was something else about him that was well known. He was very like clever, very very clever. And oh, Mermaid, I've seen the videos of people going to the island. Those are wild, and those are some very very brave men. There's like some YouTuber. There's a couple of them, and they will go to the island, and they will. This dude stormed the beaches like Normandy, and he did like a land invasion of Epstein's island, and he was showing the different the temple and different parts of it, and then he had to run away from the island because the security was going after him. So yeah, that was something really incredible to see, people going to the island. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. He said to chat, happy Valentine's Day to chat. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Mermaid said, there's still people on Little St. James Island, and they are male and female. I know Jeffrey I is staying there because you can approach the island. Yeah, yeah, that is a good observation. That's possible that he may be still using the island, and that's why people can't go there. Yeah. All right, good night, Missy. My mermaid said, yeah, he's still doing what he does. I bet Nicki Minaj claims they, as in rappers, famous, do satanic sacrifices and timing. Yeah, they are known to allegedly do those sacrifices, and there is occultic dark practices that are known in Hollywood and Hollyweird, really. And yeah, that's one of the things that is known about in it. About to do a video, so that's all the time I have. I'll have. Okay, well, thank you, Mermaid, for coming by and giving us information. Here. Mermaid said the fact that they could not eat humans, babies, whatever, for power is over my head. Yeah, because they're trying to get the uh, interchrome in there. You know, and harvest, kind of like the fountain of youth for them. Right. They're trying to get the kids pure energy. It's very evil. It's sickening, and I can't even begin to imagine why the people would do such horrid things. Indeed. Right, the Menk in Russian Yeti folklore and blurry photo found out on the cameras led to claims of a cryptid attack. Infrasound. A theory suggests wind patterns over the mountain created infrasound. Sound belong to human hearing, which can trigger intense irrational panic and nausea, causing them to flee. Sawgirl says, My youngest daughter was telling me the other day I was eating McDouble from McD's that the government put baby meat or some assuming that me. Oh God, I was so disgusted. Oh, I have heard of that. Saw girl too. I don't know how true it is, but I heard about that in like 2016. They there's like child sacrifices and they'll a blood libel, which is also called in some traditions, and then they'll go and allegedly put the meat in those where people eat regular food. So yeah, that's something that I was also disgusted by too when I heard about it. I don't know how true it is or not, but allegedly that's a thing. My youngest daughter was telling me the other day that, or read that, okay. Mermaid said, yeah, Sorrow, I heard that, research it, and I believe it's a hoax. My feeling believes McDee's is you and me too. Yeah, Sorrow, it makes you wonder about what you're, shout out to Mary Toodles, by the way. It makes you wonder, like, what you're eating exactly, and when you're taking out food, it makes you wonder, like, what it is exactly. And, yeah, I agree. Because we don't really know for certain, but it could be. Not likely. Right, so I did my own research, and seems luckily it's two incidents I read online. In Japan, a person's tooth fell into a burger, which is gross, and two just crazy rumor. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a cringe situation, indeed. Right. 'Sorrow says it's crazy, but honestly, I choose to believe our government isn't that bad. Oh, yeah, it's hard to believe at times, but yeah, hopefully there's some good things in it. Yeah. Bioengineering clone meat. Oh yeah, I know about bioengineering clone meat. We've talked about that before, and they're trying to give everybody that, and they want to put us in these boxes, in these pods, and give us fake things, and it's absolutely crazy. Yeah. 2021, Swiss researchers used 3D simulations animation technology to prove that small delayed slab of avalanche was physically possible. They say an avalanche allegedly caused what happened, but I don't know how true that is with the incident that occurred in Russia. Sure, the hikers cut into the snow slope and leveled their tent, inadvertently weakening it. Injuries, heavy slab of snow sliding onto them while they were lying flat, explains the massive internal bone fractures without external bruising. Missing parts, scientists attribute missing eyes and tongues to scavenging animals and decomposition during the months and the bodies were buried in the snow. Radiation. This often explained by the fact that two hikers worked in nuclear facilities or lived contaminated zones prior to the trip. Bioengineering bothers me. I signed pension for kitties to be saved from bioengineering. Well, that's good. And they would connect machines to cats. That's real weird. They did that in the Soviet Union too. Sargo says bioengineering for our food has been going on for a long time. Does anyone remember the movie Soylent Green? Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah. Our world is very weird. Absolutely. It's crazy. It's a real messed up cringe world, indeed. It's a Timu Sheen world. All right, going here. Let's see. All right, so and Mermaid said, and I'm still what he saw, bro. I trying to see the good in everything, and you benefit of doubt, but also take it with a grain of salt and test it myself. To we ain't trust everything. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's good to have that type of mentality, of useful mentality about things. All right, going here. All right. Oh yeah, I'm still here. Okay. Yeah, it's good to see the it's good to see good in everything as possible, because there's so much of darkness, and there can be situations where something can be good, or there's positive things in something. Because we aren't exactly North Korea or China or something. Would have been even worse. There would have been more religious persecution. There would have been more, you know, conflict that would have happened. Of if we were, it could have been even worse. So yeah, there are worse countries, but our countries does have some issues in it. Recently, in see, I yeah, there's these Baal statue Baal. So mermaid. Something else I want to tell you about is Baal, which is from the Bible. The Israelites built a see. The Israelites had a history of having disobedience towards God at times, and they built the golden idols. And one time they built an idol of Baal. The uh, it was so the Israelites are freed from Egypt, and then they built this golden calf and worshipped it, and then Moses got angry, destroyed the Ten Commandments, and now in our times, like the satanic statue, for instance, is basically what Baal, and they would sacrifice babies and stuff to it. It was very crazy, and that's what these occultic people are doing now, in a way. And I don't agree with everything with Iran, but Iran was protesting by burning the Baal statues, which I agree with. The Baal practice is bad, yes. That's something I agree with them on, but doesn't mean everybody over here is doing stuff like that, though. That's a thing that they'll do, is they'll generalize everybody here. So that's why I don't like generalizing entire groups of people. But anyway, and but yeah, the Baal, the satanic Baal needs to be, the practices of the elites need to be stopped. It's wicked to do that to people. And anybody goes to India, I'm sorry, but don't eat the food there. Take your own water, take your own snacks, and eat at someone's house who they're preparing the food. No offense to India, but they do have different standards of preparing food. Oh, I'm sure. Steve Jobs and Zuckerberg went to India for different reasons. The same reason, but different times. How about that? So, yeah, definitely had different standards of preparing food in India, and I'll keep that in mind if I ever go there to make sure the food is being done properly, or the way we would like food prepared more. Yeah, it's a real spiritual place out there. There's times where, yeah, yeah, Oh yeah, you'd be careful, right? Right. Yeah, you'd be careful. So, basically, being careful is important. I like Indian food in general. Nuri Toodles makes very good Indian food, and they it's a lot of different flavors, similar to like my city, with the different flavors and spices and stuff. Yeah, the definitely are, as I said, very spiritual people, and they have interesting temples and stuff there. Yeah, they. Oh, thank you, Shell. You too. Happy V Day to you too. Oh, Moki, you don't like Indian food? Okay, understood. And it is different tasting. It does taste different. And Sargo says, "I love Indian food from India. It's like amazing, but only when I eat here in America." Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because we, as I said, as Sargo says, we have different ways of preparing food here than they do. Yeah. Well, we said hi, Shell, Miranda, and no, but not Judy until she joins IG. Right, right. And yeah, because IG is where all the parties happening in IG. Yeah. Let's see. There was lots of gurus from India back in the um, that they would give different enlightened philosophies came from there. Not necessarily bad ones though. There was good and bad ones that came from different places. Yeah, and that is basically what the philosophical ideas and meditation stuff came from there. And now the ideas of Buddha and stuff came from India and then went to China and India. So I mean, China and Japan. The Zen Buddhism. Oh, mermaid. That reminds me of a time. Yes, I am Hans on there. Yeah. You see, we have. Oh yeah, when I was in growing up, not growing up, but like a couple about what year we were in. We're in 9 years ago. I was with my friends and or get some Chinese food. Oh, you're going to get another username? Okay, Missy. Yeah, because uh, we'd love to have you on IG because we'll send you reels, and Moki has a nice reels to send you. Yeah, and you don't have to overthink a username, and we can just you don't have to think too much thought into it. As I said, happy Valentine's Day to each and every one of you, and appreciate everybody very much. Yeah, it's funny. So let's go here. What is on the screen exactly? Okay, that looks cool. Let's see. Explain the UFO theory. Now, the UFO theory regarding the Dyatlav Pass incident gained significant traction primarily because led Soviet investigator himself eventually claimed that extraterrestrial activity was obvious cause this theory is supported by reports of strange aerial phenomena, radiation, and on clothing, unusual appearance on the victims' bodies. Okay, Miss C, good night to you. I know that a lot of people like watch the spaceship when they're resting stuff, but sometimes people can't sleep and they watch me. So at the beginning of the channel, I remember like Latina likes me to. I'll read what I did like in the past was I'd read these Wikipedia articles about different things the whole night, and sometimes people like to listen to it as they go to sleep, and then but other times they stay up and watch me, and they can't even do anything the next day because of watching my streams. So yeah, it's like it helps people sleep, but it also stimulates people. Hey, Mermaid says, okay, I've went on too far. I gotta go. Okay, Mermaid, see you later. On your video. Okay. Oh, look, it's my my sidekick Duke. Shout out to Duke. Yeah. Okay, Mermaid, see you later. All right. Oh, okay, Mermaid, understood. Okay. Well, thank you for chatting with us, Mermaid. I really appreciate your take on things. Always enjoy your company. Yeah, and okay, thank you, Sagro. Yeah, Duke. We were talking about Yetis and UFOs abducting people and a Russian incident and food in my city. By the way, since Duke's here, he likes a certain type of food that is a staple to my region, which is okra. It's something Duke also likes to grow. So, uh, okra came from Africa during the transatlantic slave trade, and they brought it here, and it's very popular in my city specifically, and it's one of the origins of gumbo. And they also served it on plantations, and they served it in both the slaves and plantation owners both ate it at different variations. So at first start with the slaves had it, then they brought it into the kitchens. Then after it was all over, they created it just became a cool food for the city. Oh yeah, fried okra is good too. Yes. Yeah, okra. Yeah, yeah. And as I said, it was always nice to have gumbo from the people like right from the people that cooked it for centuries. So, like it passed down from family lines. And I tell you, when I had the gumbo mochi for the first time, I was like, wow. It was like an LSD experience. Not that I've ever done LSD, but it's something like that. Oh, a lot of people don't like it. I'm surprised. But although I don't know the statistics of it, still, yeah, it's an African plant, and yeah, I had a dream last. You know what, Crazy Moki? You remind me. I had a dream last night, or I should say today, because I was. Sometimes I sleep when the sun's out, like a vampire, and with the daytime, I was showing you all a tour of my garden. There's all these different plants around. It was like springtime, and I was showing a plant. I'm like, yep, that's related to cotton. So that was the okra plant. So that was actually a dream, but it's actually realistic in a way because you remind me of it. What I had just a little while, while I was sleeping. So with the cotton plant, it's related to okra. By the way, just like a fun fact. So that's why I look somewhere. I really appreciate it. I live in South Carolina, SoCal, and when they say it doesn't get cold here, people lie. It's freezing here. Mornings. Thank you, concern. Oh, you don't like the snot that comes out of okra, right? Right, right. It's of okra snot from Timu, right? And oh yeah, Las Vegas, same, yeah, because the deserts actually get very cold at night. Yeah, very cold at night in the deserts. Where I am, it's humid and hot at times, and it just is what it is. But when it's like the cooler seasons, it gets cold where I am. But the swamp has swamp heat to it. Yeah. Okra is slimy, but you don't think about it. It has a really good taste. Oh yeah, that's true.
Pickled okra isn't slimy.
Well, okay, so pickled okra. I just said okra. Pickled okra is in slimy, by the way. A fun fact. By the way, the Japanese food, the Japanese plants like daikon and different, even carrots or something could be. There's a Japanese way of pickling something, which is really cool. And it's just a fun fact too. A lot of times they pickled their food. All right, so the origins of investigator Lev Levonov. The theory shifted from fringe speculation. Duke says washing the slime away helps. Yeah, that's true. Speculation to major conspiracy points in 1990. Oh, your dog loves carrots and bananas. That is a healthy dog. Facts. 1990, when Levanov, the original lead investigator, published an article revealing he had been ordered by high-ranking Soviet officials to censor his findings. The heat ray. Ivanov claimed he found unusual char marks on trees when he believed were caused by targeting heat rays from UFO directed at the hikers. Official confirmation. In his 1990 article, Ivanov stated that, based on evidence, the role of UFOs in the tragedy was quite obvious. Alright. Duke says he wishes he was pickled. Right. Sargo says, Duke, don't wish you were pickled. Believe me, one day you're going to wish you weren't. See, and Sargo 66, I've never seen more wrinkles in my life. Oh. Yeah, and I wish everybody to not, if being pickled in the sense of like a party pickle in a good way, that's cool, but the type of pickle that Sawgirl talks about, hopefully people are not pickled in that way. Yeah. All right, and thank you, Sawgirl, for your take on this. All right. The heat ray. Ivanov claimed he found unusual char marks on trees which he believed were caused by targeted heat ray from UFO directed at hikers. Official confirmation. In his 1990 article, Ivanov stated that, based on the evidence, the role of UFOs in the tragedy was quite obvious. Orange spheres. So I'll take it. I'll take your advice also about the not being pickled. Sorrow. All right. Orange spheres. On the night the hikers died, another group of campers approximately 50 kilometers away reported seeing strange orange spheres in the northern sky, similar to floating balls of light, were continuously reported by military and meteorology services the area throughout February and March 1959. Physical appearance. Witnesses who attended the hikers' funerals include 12-year-old boy who later headed the Dyatlav Foundation, recalled that victim's skin had a deep brown or bright orange tan, which some linked to radiation earthly. Yeah, Saw Girl, there's one time I was on another show and a couple years ago, and I looked towards the horizon and I saw this blue orb floating around, and like a drone would have had blinking lights on it. It wasn't a drone, and it was an orb, and it floated up in the air. It was floating around the air. I took a video of it. It's on my channel somewhere, and yeah, it was quite freaky to experience. I've also had dreams of them too, which allegedly a dream has something to do with it. But yeah, that's the encounter that I had. I saw an orb one time. Right. Physical appearance. Witnesses who attended the hikers' funerals, including a 12-year-old boy who later... yeah, a frisbee. A galactic frisbee. Physical appearance. Witnesses who attend hikers' funerals, including 12-year-old boy who later headed the Dyatlav Foundation, recalled that the victim's skin had a deep brown, a bright orange tan, which some linked to radiation or unearthly weapons. Radiation traces of radioactivity were found on 2 of the hikers' clothing. Proponents suggest this resulted from either extraterrestrial energy or sources or weapons tested by these objects. Sorrel says, I personally have never had a close encounter. However, a rumor in my family that one of the cousins and her friends were abducted by aliens and shipped, and I just never had enough to ask. Okay. If Frisbee is on the roof. Yeah, it's Duke's Frisbee that's really on the roof. Duke's Frisbee. Yeah, so, Sorrel, that, yeah, they do abduct people, and I do believe those abduction stories are true. Now, not all of them are true, but definitely there are true ones in my opinion. Now, with those UFOs, they are... I believe the aliens, my friend told me about them, and I saw them on... A couple years before that, on History Channel, I saw them, and I thought it was creepy. Then, another incident occurred where we were on the... yeah, that's right. My friend's school is very interested in them, and I'm just like, what if it's real? Like, you know, why? I just saw too many TV shows where somebody is like right about something and everyone thinks they're wrong. So I'm like, we need to make sure we're talking about that. And because what if it is real and we can't really disprove it? I then looking into it more, like with the Skinny Bob video and etc. There has to be something out there. Now I do believe some aliens could be fallen angels or fallen watchers also, but I do also, besides that, think that there are beings on other planets far out somewhere. Billions of stars. There can be something on there. Trillions of stars. So I think both are true. That there's some fallen angels disguised as aliens and aliens from other planets. So the Romans saw UFOs. They saw strange ships in the sky before our technology. So, and there's gods and things that came down to humans, and those gods could also be aliens, in a way. So yeah, I think the abduction stories are most, not all of them are true, but I do think there are true abduction stories, and they should be taken seriously. Like, what if someone went through a traumatic event like that, and no one believes them? I mean, that's messed up. Like, what if it happened to you or me? It could happen to anybody. By God's protection, may we be protected from evil things like that, from those aliens that are bad. But yeah, it could happen to anybody. Yeah, facts, Duke. It is real. Sargo, fallen angels. Yep, I agree with your daughter. Absolutely. Missile test. Many of the orange spheres seen in the sky have since been identified as documented R-7 intercontinental missile launches, other secret Soviet military tests. What if it was just dramatic? What if it was fantastic? Yeah, I would say it would be a fun experience then, and people should share it on the news, share it all over YouTube and stuff. Yeah, like what if it's just like an alien party? Uh, it was just a VIP meeting behind the scenes. That would be cool. Maybe it is not all bad. It just depends on the encounter. Yeah, definitely. Like, why does that have to be traumatic? It could be something dramatic instead. Mummification. The orange tan on the bodies is natural characteristic of mummification caused by 3 months of exposure to serve frost, wind, and sun. Avalanche simulation. A 2021 study uses computer modeling to prove, yeah, alien party is spaceship party. Yeah, party bus. The Galactic Party Bus. Yeah. Avalanche simulation. At 2021, a study used computer modeling to prove that a slab avalanche could cause the car crash like internal injuries observed, and the hikers suggested they fled the tent due to natural disaster rather than an aerial threat. I saw an alien. I'm not sure if I would know the difference between traumatic and exciting. Oh yeah, exactly. And also another thing from a Stoic philosophy is that it's not about what happens or people that irritate you. It's your view that you take of them. So there's a saying: if there's lots of people, it's not irritating. It's a festival. If you're alone, it's like you're like a god, right? Like they're gods they had. They're an alone time. So it just depends on your perspective of what you're experiencing. So it doesn't have to be traumatic. It could be just like a party or exciting. It depends on the interpretation. Right, exactly. All right. There's also in Antarctica, allegedly, there's something going on in Antarctica. There's alleged UFO activity and the other ones coming from space. I mean, the Nazis there, etc. Yeah, at the festival, right. Operation High Jump. The most enduring UFO theory centers in the massive U.S. Navy mission led by Admiral Richard Bride. The theory prominents claim the mission was actually a military strike against a secret Nazi base is Station 211. There were advanced saucer-shaped aircraft, the Honeybee, that were being tested. Some stories describe aerial battle with the U.S. Oh, WikiLeaks, the land anomaly, a massive gravitational anomaly beneath the ice, has been speculated to be buried UFO ancient structure. Scientists believe it is actually a massive impact crater. A popular video once claimed long trial of the snow led to crashed extraterrestrial craft. Geologists identified the craft as a large rock that tumbled from a cliff and skidded across the glaciers. Hollow Earth. Some theories suggest Antarctica hides a interest to Hollow Earth, ties to supposedly a secret diary of Admiral Discovery after his death of the few lush tropical worlds. Now, Sawgrove, there is it's possible aliens could have had something to do with it. That's possible. Now, there are pictures and videos of a masked men taking her, but it's possibly could be a deception, and it's actually from an alien origin, or she was taken by somebody that an alien took it. It's possible. And I do think that now she was allegedly connected with someone with Epstein. So it's also, there's another possibility that because of some Epstein link to somebody, she could maybe say something and they want to silence her. That's another theory that's floating around too. But it's very odd, strange, and we don't know what is going on. I know it's just a thought, but I still will ponder it. You know, anything is possible, as they say. All right, Moki. See you later. Thank you for coming. Right. But as I said, it's possible it could have been aliens. They could have disguised themselves as people with masks to make it look like they took her to another place, but it's really another planet. That's possible. I say I'll even play along with it. It's okay. I believe anything's possible. All right, I'll explain to you about her link to Epstein right now. The magnificent Moki gave me lots of information about this. All right, those. Well, let's see. Jay-Z, we said that. Oh, well, we're just going to just look through every single one of these to see what it is. That's fine. Let's see. All right, here we go. Yes, the alien dresses in E.T. Facts. All right. Okay, this is an alleged theory. Okay. Yep, her husband's company is listed as a co-conspirator in the Epstein files. Let's see. FGS Global. In case you're wondering why now, of all times, for Savannah Guthrie's mother to be kidnapped, Savannah Guthrie is in the Epstein files. She is linked to Clinton's. Her husband's name is Michael Fieldman. He was the scrubber, that is the guy who got things harmful to the Clintons from the press off the internet and out of the public eye. He founded the PR consulting firm with Joe Lockhart. Joe Lockhart was Bill Clinton's White House press secretary. After Lockhart left the agreement, he became a senior partner at the Glover Park Group, which was founded, and Fieldman Joe Lockhart sold his D.C. property at 24446 Belmore Road, Washington, D.C. Obama's Governor Park themed Greg Rothschild, Managing Director, Group Government Affairs Division. Rothschild's wife, Stefan Hershowitz Rothschild, died in a bizarre traffic accident in 2021. So those are some theories that she was connected indirectly with Epstein stuff, so maybe they think she might know something, so that's a possibility. Yeah, absolutely. This will be in the next video, by the way. And also, by the way, I have, in the Epstein files, I have been looking into victim statements and victims' personal testimonies that were very traumatic for those people that were in that. So, that's something else we're looking into as well. The other Epstein video that I did, the first one, has to do with a journal that one of them released, which was all in cryptic. It was a cryptic journal, and it was deciphered, and just talking about various people that did stuff to her and her experiences, and she had a collage of pictures in her journal of inspirational things. Like, I don't know, like a fish, sharks, inspirational quotes, like the ugly duckling was actually a swan, etc. A lot of these girls were scared to death, and they're just, like, forced into these weird things. Right. So, I see you, Duke. Right. So, yeah. That is, about the Epstein victims and about this alleged link between Guthrie and the Epstein files. Right. Remember, a lot of times conspiracy theories are windows to something else. Right. Okay. At this point, I'm going to show you all some more of the Depp trial. We're going to switch over back here. And here we go.
I'll sustain it.
You have never arrived at the opinion that Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that suggest her allegations of abuse against Mr. Depp are false, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And in fact, you've said that has never been my opinion, correct?
What I'm saying is that the opinions in here, these are not my opinions. My opinions are provided in my report.
Can you please turn to page 255 of your deposition? And if we could start on 254 to give the context.
I don't have that page, I'm sorry.
254, line 11.
Oh, okay.
And the question is now, the next one is, quote, Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that suggest her allegations of abuse against Mr. Depp are false, end of quote. Was that your opinion in February 2021? And you answered at that time, no, correct?
That is correct.
And then I asked, have you ever arrived at that opinion in the time that you have served as an expert witness in this case? And your answer was, could you read that to the jury, please?
Yes. So no, it's not the task. I was cut off, essentially what I said then was, no,
Dr.
that's
Curry,
not the task of Dash. That was never my task to determine. Can I say what that means?
No. And then
Okay.
the question is, so is it fair to say that you have never arrived at an opinion that, quote, Ms. Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that suggest allegations of abuse against Mr. Depp are false, end of quote. And what was your answer?
Well, there was an objection.
All right, I'll read it for you if you're having difficulty.
Okay.
Your answer was, under oath, correct. That is not my opinion. That has never been my opinion. Isn't that what
Correct.
you said under
Yes.
oath on March 21st? Okay. And then I wrote, then I'm going to ask you, do you know who wrote this portion of the designation suggesting that these were your opinions in February of 2021? And what was your answer?
I said no.
Yeah, exactly, about Robbie Romero. That is something I'll look into, too. Thank you for mentioning it. It makes perfect sense. It most likely has to do with that Epstein scandal, too. because it's the timing of that is uncanny, with all this Epstein stuff coming out.
Now, as of the time of this initial expert designation, you had not reviewed any materials, reached any opinions, correct?
I believe I had just started to review materials. I believe that I indicated that in my deposition. I had not yet rendered any opinions. I hadn't completed my review, and I hadn't conducted an evaluation.
Okay. And in fact, you've never testified as an expert on IPV, intimate partner violence. Isn't that correct?
I believe that is correct, but I may not be remembering all of my cases.
Oh, let's go to page 200.
Okay.
Line 17. My question was, have you ever testified as an expert on IPV? And your answer under oath then at line 22 was what?
Oh, gosh, let me catch up. Line 22. No.
And you've never testified as an expert on emotional distress damages associated with IPV, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you've never been asked to testify with respect to emotional damages associated with domestic violence or abuse, isn't that correct?
Again, I'm reluctant to say that's correct because with 15 years of experience, a lot of my cases have been complex, and that may have been a component, but I don't remember explicitly a case being just about that.
Let's go
Correct.
to page 199, line 20. My question to you was, have you ever been asked to testify with respect to emotional damages associated with domestic violence or abuse? And your answer under oath at that time was?
No.
I've not, right?
Sorry, I
isn't
haven't
what
found
you
the
said?
page in time.
Okay. You said, no, I've not.
But I have
correct?
not.
Okay. Now, you also have never been asked to testify on whether an individual is being truthful in saying that they are a survivor of IPV. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you have never qualified as an expert to speak to whether a person suffered from IPV, intimate partner violence, or was a victim or survivor of IPV. Is that correct?
That's outside the task of a psychologist to determine whether an event occurred. We assess behavior, we assess mental status, we don't detect crimes.
So you have not been asked to testify to that, correct?
It's not something that occurs, so no, I have not.
And you were not ultimately asked to provide any opinions on that, correct?
No, I was not.
Okay. Now, you did not disclose in any of the designations or your report that you had met with and had dinner and drinks with Mr. Depp, did you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yes,
That
you did
confused
not
me.
disclose in any of the designations or in your report that you had dinner and drinks with Mr. Depp, correct?
I did not disclose that I was interviewed by the legal team, no.
I asked a different question. Are you trying to resist that you didn't have dinner with Mr. Depp and drinks?
I'm not trying to resist that, but it's not quite right.
You did
What you're
have dinner
stating.
with Mr. Depp, did you not?
I did, with
And
his
you had
legal
drinks
team
with
and
Mr.
Mr.
Depp,
Depp.
did you not?
And what?
You had drinks with Mr. Depp, did you not?
Drinks were served. This was over 2 years ago. I may have had a drink with dinner, yes.
In fact, you thought you had a mule something, right?
Possibly.
Yes, okay. And you didn't disclose that you had met with Mr. Depp, Mr. Waldman, Mr. Chu, and Ms. Vasquez at Mr. Depp's house for 3 to 4 hours and had dinner and drinks, correct?
I did not disclose that. It's not significant to the report.
You don't think that's significant, correct?
I don't.
Okay. But you've never been asked to meet with a client in his counsel before being retained as an expert, either before or after, have you?
No.
And you justified that it was okay in this case because it was a high-profile case.
That's not quite right. I justified it in this case. Actually, I sought consultation about it. First of all, the person who had retained his attorneys was unable to come to my office with his attorneys. And yes, this is a very visible case. It's been going on a very long time. And I understood that there would be a need to interview me and make an informed decision about my qualifications.
Can you look at page 240, please? Line 3 is my question. Would you agree it's highly irregular to meet with the subject in a litigation? And your answer on that occasion was, I would not say it's highly irregular. I would say it's not something that I would typically do. However, I had not yet been retained on the case. This was a large, high-profile case, and I understood that I believed that it was appropriate for a person retaining me with such a high profile to meet me, to be able to vet me, essentially with the attorneys present prior to retaining me on his case. Do you recall that?
Yes.
That's what you said under oath, correct?
Yes.
And then I said, have you ever done that before? And you said, no. Correct? And then I said, have you ever done it since? And you said, no. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, would you agree that if you did not find something that would be in favor of Mr. Depp and negative to Ms. Heard, that you wouldn't be an expert in this case? That
Essentially,
I can bring you into court if you're going to say.
All right, good night, Saw Girl. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. See you tomorrow, fam. All right, very good stream with you tonight. Okay, now we'll continue. And I do agree, Hamilton, about that. She was of Timu Brenda Hoss. That's what she was, definitely.
That Ms. Heard is right and Mr. Depp is wrong, correct?
So as a forensic psychologist, my obligation is to the court, is to the fact finder. I present science regardless of what that science may be. Now, when I take a case, my retainer agreement is explicit about that, and I discuss that with the attorneys.
I'm asking you a question. I'd like you to try to answer my
Okay.
question. You understand that if you found favorably to Ms. Heard and negatively to Mr. Depp, you wouldn't be here, right? You wouldn't be testifying.
Objection speculative.
No, okay, sorry.
Hold on. The objection is speculation.
That's not speculation.
I'll sustain the objection if you want to ask.
Okay. It goes to bias, Your Honor.
I sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay, all right. You were, in fact, so excited about being involved in this case that you told your husband, even though this was a highly confidential matter, that you were going to be conducting the examination of Ms. Heard, didn't you?
That is not accurate.
You not only told your husband, but you told Ms. Heard that you told your husband, correct?
Ms. Bredehoff, that is not accurate.
What is accurate?
You're incorrect. That is not correct.
Is your testimony today under oath that you did not tell your husband that you were going to be conducting the examination of Amber?
That is my testimony.
Okay. Let's go to page 306. So the question that was asked was because you brought muffins, you said, from your husband, right? You gave those to Ms. Heard, correct?
May I clarify what occurred so that we can stop talking about the muffins? What happened was that I was getting ready that morning. I frequently bring muffins to the office. My husband did happen to know that there was going to be a celebrity client coming in because on the mornings that occurs, which often occurs, we have to actually clear the office and move the staff to the other office. So yes, on the one hand, he was aware of that. I was getting ready. I asked him to go to the bakery near our house and pick up the muffins for me because I was running late. He often has to do that because I often do run late. He brought the muffins back to the house. I brought them into the office. Ms. Heard and I enjoyed the muffins together. I think I made a comment to her along the lines like, we can thank my husband. My husband got these for us today, meaning he purchased the muffins. We are now enjoying them because of him.
Did you say on pages 305 and 306 that you frequently have examinations of high-profile clients? You want to just take a quick look and tell us?
What, 305, 306?
Yeah, that's where we're talking about it.
Is there a line you'd like me to look at?
You can start with 15, line 15, 305. Just read through that and tell me whether you said anywhere in there that you have a lot of high-profile examinations. You do this frequently.
Objection to improper impeachment.
I don't agree.
Won't you approach, please?
He did not get the muffins.
So why did your husband get the muffins for Amber Heard?
He did not get the muffins for Amber Heard.
He knew you had a high-profile client, and you were preparing for a very long time, and you asked him to pick up the muffins, correct?
I asked him to pick up the muffins for me, yes.
Okay. Now, would you agree that domestic abuse can be verbal?
Absolutely, yes.
Would you agree that domestic abuse can be emotional?
Yes, certainly.
Would you agree that domestic abuse can be psychological?
Yes.
Would you agree that domestic abuse can be physical?
Yes.
Now, you indicated, and I believe you testified in your direct, that it's very important to review the treatment records before forming opinions. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, that's the first thing you would do, correct?
Not necessarily the first, but it's part of the evaluation.
Let's go to page 261. And let's go to 260 because that's where I start the question. The question I asked was, and do you recall whether you'd review any of
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely after she finished that trial, it was nice seeing her in the court again. I've not seen a trial since 22 that she did, so it was nice having like a recap of her overseeing a trial. And seeing this again after that just happened is very fascinating too. Definitely.
of these by the designation on February 19, 2021, and you said, okay, I can't say for certain. What I can tell you is that knowing my normal procedure, I would have reviewed the treatment records first. Did you testify to that under oath then?
Yes.
Okay. Now, before we start getting into the ones that you testified about, I just want to be really clear about what you actually have as an opinion with respect to the borderline personality disorder and the histrionics. You didn't diagnose, you didn't actually have a DSM-5 diagnosis that Amber Heard suffers from either borderline personality disorder or histrionic personality disorder, correct?
That's not correct.
In fact, your report says Ms. Heard demonstrates psychological symptoms of a combined borderline and histrionic personality disorder. Would you agree?
Yes, I did say that in also what designation was that? I believe January 18th that report was included? Yes.
Okay. And that's what you said at that time, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I said a little bit more than that as well.
You said, and I'll read it, I'll quote it, quote, based on the combined results of my interview with Ms. Heard, behavioral observations, psychometric test data, and review of the available records, Ms. Heard demonstrates psychological symptoms of a combined borderline and histrionic personality disorder. BHPD. That's
Yes.
what you wrote in your report as one of your conclusions, correct?
And that's a DSM-5 diagnosis.
And it did not say that you were diagnosing with a DSM-5 for borderline personality disorder or histrionic personality disorder, did it?
That's what it says in different semantics.
Oh, so what you meant to say...
It did not use the words you just said.
Now, let's talk about the treatment records that you said that you reviewed. But I'm going to start with Rocky Pennington. Your testimony was that out of the blue, Amber hit Rocky Pennington, correct?
I can't remember exactly what I said, but I did reference Ms. Pennington's deposition that Ms. Heard struck Ms. Pennington in the face.
In
Yes.
fact, Ms. Pennington testified that she hit Ms. Heard. And in response to that, she can't recall, but Ms. Heard either pushed or slapped her, correct?
I don't recall.
That's a pretty important distinction, don't you think?
My recollection is that there was some sort of violence both ways in the relationship. Either way, it seems that both of them might have been unstable. I'm only evaluating Ms. Heard.
So now we have an evaluation of Rocky Pennington
No,
from...
I just said, but that was not relevant to my opinion because I'm only evaluating Ms. Heard.
But you testified to that on direct that that was a factor, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, wouldn't it make a big difference if Amber struck first or just responded back?
Given the dynamic, not necessarily. No, it would not have.
So now you're an expert on Rocky Pennington and her dynamics with Amber Heard.
Objection argumentative.
I'll withdraw.
This is sustained.
Okay, so
Withdrawn.
now let's talk about Dr. Cowan. You not only reviewed his treatment records and his text messages and documents, but you also attended his deposition, did you not?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall Dr. Cowan testifying that Amber told him about Depp physically abusing her contemporaneous with the events?
I don't recall specifically his words, but I remember him recalling that she had disclosed abuse in their treatment, yes.
And do you recall Dr. Cowan testifying that he received a text message contemporaneous that Johnny did a number on me tonight. I'm safe in my support tonight, but I need some real help. Do you remember him testifying to that?
I don't remember the testimony, but I do remember seeing that text message as one of the exhibits.
And do you remember Dr. Cowan testifying that on another occasion, Amber sent him a text, Johnny beat me up pretty good last night, end of quote.
Again,
Not in this instance. She can rely on it. She testified.
Overruled.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I didn't need to argue that hard, I guess. Do you recall that?
Again, I don't recall the testimony, but I do remember that being an exhibit. I've seen it.
Do you recall Dr. Cowan testifying that not only did he believe Amber in her reporting of the abuse by Depp, but that she had no ulterior motive?
I actually don't recall that. I'm not saying that it didn't occur.
Okay. Do you recall Dr. Cowan testifying that he believed the relationship was toxic and he was concerned for Amber's physical well-being?
I do recall him saying that he believed the relationship was toxic.
And you don't recall
I do
Dr.
not.
Cowan saying that he was concerned for Amber's physical well-being?
I don't remember those exact words.
Okay, and at this point, we'll be done for the stream for the night, and we'll come back tomorrow. Now there is going to be there is a bad weather warning for tonight. By the way, I discovered there's going to be some bad weather. Anyway, which I didn't discover it because we talked about it earlier, but I did get an alert about it anyway. But we finished what we need to do for this night, and thank you all for coming, hanging out with us, and peace.